Hey folks, Nicole here of Nicole Gilbert Quilts. I am having so much fun today in the studio. So I have finally unboxed my Baby Lock Chorus, and I have to tell you, she does not disappoint. I am so excited to get going, but now that I've unboxed her, I wanted to do a quick start guide. You know, when you get a new electronic, there's always like that first 2 pages in the instruction manual that are basically like, do this, do this, do this, and now technically you can get started before you jump into all the nitty gritties. That's what I want to do with you guys here today. If you haven't watched my unboxing to see all of the things that come when you order a Baby Lock Chorus, please go ahead and you can watch that after this video. There'll be a link in the description below. But now let's go ahead and dive into getting started with your Baby Lock Chorus. Okay folks, so here we are with our Baby Lock Chorus. Okay, so let's talk about one obvious thing, our power cord. So the black cord that you received, you'll notice that you had a few different cords in the packaging. The black one is our power cord, but I am not quite ready to hook this up yet. First, let's talk about kind of all the add-ons that we can put on our machine. Now, this is how she comes straight out of the box, and you might be thinking, this is wonderful. All of your pins are set up. We've got an independent bobbin winder, so you can have your spool here, your race to follow, and then your bobbin here. And then you can have your actual needle thread on this spool here and kind of go through the pathway to thread our needle. Now, that being said, some of you, and by some of you, I'm including myself in this, I don't typically use a standard size spool. I usually use a big old cone. I use a pearly gray thread for 99% of my patchwork piecing and a lot of my quilting as well. So how do you go ahead and fit one of that on there? You're gonna remove this piece first, okay? Now, you might get a little bit of resistance, and that's okay. It can feel a little daunting with a machine of this price to kind of give it a little yank, but that's all you have to do. It slides right out. It's being held in place by these pins, okay? So we're gonna set that to the side. And now this is all exposed. And so what we'll do here is we're going to attach our thread stand. And now with the thread stand, you'll have gotten this piece separate. And then in a bag with a bunch of different spool accessories, you'll have received these 2 pins, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and just stick those pins right in. Now, if you look at the back of your machine, right along here, right behind the hook and wheel for your bobbin loading, your bobbin winder, there are some slots. And you're just gonna take these pins and push down. And there you go. You might hear a little bit of a creak, but that's okay. And now that's in. The remaining part of the thread stand, and I'm gonna move this up just a little bit so you can see, is this T-stand. And this will be where your thread gets looped through. You will actually just place it right inside that center hole. And there you have it. You're good to go there. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is how to attach the sensor pen. Now, our sensor pen came with 2 parts. It came with the pen itself, and it came with this little plastic holder doohickey. Now, yes, doohickey is a scientific term. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna shift this to the side so you can see what I'm talking about here on the side. Right here is this hole. This is where your little doohickey, see, I'm gonna use it again, goes in. And you can kind of, when you're pushing it in, you can feel the direction that it's supposed to go in, okay? So like when you're feeling in there, it won't go, and then as you're slowly twisting it, it'll slide in, okay? And the pen hangs like this. So you'll see the Baby Lock branding. That is gonna go against your machine, and that's how that pen fits in there. Now, I'm just gonna remove this twist tie. I knew I missed one. Just gonna remove this twist tie, and the connector end goes right in this slot here. And again, this is kind of one of those things where you kind of twist until you feel it, and then it's in. There you have it. So now our sensor pen is attached. And there is a little bit of excess wire here. You won't notice it because it's on the side of the machine away from where you're sewing, but it's necessary so that you can pull the pen out and use it over here. But it won't get in your way. Okay, so now we have attached the sensor pen. Now let's pivot this back. You may notice that I'm using the arm to kind of move this. It's because now that I've attached the stand, the handle is not as accessible. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're somebody who is constantly using the handle, using the large thread stand might get in your way a little bit, but I don't find it to be such an issue for me personally that I would not use it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is those amazing presser feet. Now, with those presser feet, you received, and by presser feet, I mean foot pedals, so many foot associated items. So we have our large presser foot, our large foot pedal, holy moly guys, and we have our smaller foot pedal. We also received this bracket, as well as these screws. Now, for these screws, I'm gonna go ahead and use, where did that go? There we go. And use the screwdriver that I was provided in my little white kit. That kind of standard sewing machine kit that we all know and love. This is the screwdriver that is included. Okay? So, how to do this? One, you're gonna wanna see, and every time I pick this up, I'm in awe. I love it. It's got this nice non-slip surface, and it's a nice hefty foot pedal without being one of those gigantic ones where, you know, your foot is kind of constantly always catching it, even when you don't mean to. This is the perfect size foot pedal, and this non-slip grip, amazing. But what you'll wanna do is you'll wanna position both of these kind of how you want them separated apart. You'll notice on this bracket, so you'll have a big side and a smaller side. The big side is gonna go under the big pedal. The smaller side is gonna go under the smaller pedal. It's kind of straightforward there, which means, and when you look at the back of our pedals, we see this screw hole, okay? And on the smaller pedal, it's right there in the center as well. there's also these pre-drilled holes. So there's only so far apart that you can get them if you're going to choose to use the bracket. I'm going to use the bracket because I like them to stay together. The case of the wandering foot pedal, I don't like that, and I really don't want two of them to go in opposite directions. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up, and I'm pretty much putting mine in the center for the big pedal, and I think I'm going to go for the inner hole on the smaller pedal. That'll give me a little bit of a gap without them being too far apart. I do want to be able to shift my foot side to side. And actually, I'm going to start with the more narrow setting, thinking of not wanting things to shift on me. And then if I decide later on that I would like them separated apart, I can then move them further out. But I am now going to just use those screws. And I'm placing that right in, and I'm first just going to hand tighten them. And you can see they've got a nice, large, satisfying flathead opening on these screws. So if you did want to use a larger screwdriver, you totally could. But the one that comes with the machine works just fine. And I might have hand tightened that. I hand tightened it all the way. I'm feeling very strong, guys. And there you have it. So now that's fully attached. They're not going anywhere. They're attached to each other. Awesome. And what you'll want to do before operation is you are going to remove this twist tie. I told you guys, I just took this thing out of the box. So we're going to plug this into this. And we'll want to remove this twist tie all the way so that our wires don't get crimped. We want to make sure we're taking good care of our wires. We don't want that stress there. So now, here we go. And now we'll take this, we'll remove this twist tie, and this actually gets plugged in over on the side, right in front of where you plugged in your sensor pin. So right here, right where you plugged in your sensor pin. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And I am really excited because now what we're going to do is we're going to fire this up for the very first time. And I apologize about some of the camera motions. I just want to make sure you're seeing everything. So now it's time to plug in that power cord. And that's going to go right below the end of your sensor pen is where that plugs in. And we're plugged in now. And mine, interestingly enough, had the power button flipped. How beautiful is this screen, guys? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Look at all of this. It's just going through all of its wonderful features that we know of already, and I'm so excited because now it's like the perfect teaser trailer. Like, okay, now can I use it? And that is something I will be discussing in a later video as well. We never miss thread, which is pretty exciting. Okay, so now one cool thing about the sensor pen, which I was told by one of the Baby Lock retailers, was that you can use the sensor pen like a stylus, which I like because now it's there, I can grab it. I'm used to using the stylus from a previous machine that I had, and I like using the stylus. So we're gonna walk through. This is like First setup, the first thing you're going to see, it's going to ask you to select your language, and we're going to set the clock. And so it is, what time is it? So it is April 14th. You can press and hold and it'll just go through so you don't have to keep tapping. And it is 4:42 p.m. Clock display on. I like to have the clock display on because I want to see what time it is, and you'll see it popped up right down here in the corner. And so now we close that. And now it's good to go. We have done the quick start setup of our Baby Lock Chorus. Okay guys, I am so excited to get started on this machine. There are many fun videos coming your way regarding this setup and all Baby Lock machines, and I cannot wait to see you next time. If you're interested in that unboxing video, please go ahead and check the description for that link. Okay guys, I'll see you later.